Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I feel like we got a good one right here. Oh, I feel like this is going to be a good one. We are back on a Recollection Road channel. We got past social norms you can't get away with today. As always, I'll leave the link to their channel in the description. I just want to know. I want to know what was then that isn't now. You know, how much has changed? Appreciate all the love and support. Shout out to all the good humans. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
It's funny to think about how different society has become from when we grew up. For some, it's even sad, but change is inevitable. The things that were once considered fun might be considered scary or unsafe today.
Look at that,
So let's
man.
revisit some things that were once perfectly acceptable to do, but now you wouldn't dare do them.
Sleep on top of the seat. I don't know if I ever did that as a kid. I don't think so.
The practice of knocking on someone's door, or even ringing the doorbell, was once something that was common and seen as neighborly. It didn't matter that the knock was unexpected. The door would kindly open, and you could ask to borrow something, or if a friend could come out to play.
Some sugar.
But today, the sound of someone unexpected at your front door gets a completely different reaction. Some people pretend that they're not home and hope they go away, while others answer the door as if someone is trespassing. It's a much different world than it used to be, at least in some neighborhoods.
That is big facts. Even with my phone.
Back before video games,
Even my phone ring, because not too many people got my number. Especially if I'm home with my wife and sister, I'm like, who the hell is calling me? Everybody that live with me is here. Always, yeah, I can understand that. When that doorbell rings, you're like, come on, man, who the hell is this? Get yourself a Ring camera, man.
games and cellular technology invaded our lives. It wasn't just common, it was pretty much mandatory for kids to play outside without any supervision. There were no helicopter parents, and kids were left to use their imagination to keep themselves busy. This sometimes meant making mud pies after it rained,
That was
or
me.
maybe even building a fort with friends somewhere out in the woods. It didn't matter what we did. The point was that we were forced to occupy our free time by being active. Times have certainly changed, with parents being much more cautious about safety. It seems the world has become filled with constant dangers that discourages kids from roaming free or being unattended at all.
That is big facts, man. It is a crazy world.
Recollection Road is proud to partner with Legacy Box. Get early access to the best deal of the year. Watch until the end of this video to see why Legacy Box is the perfect gift this holiday season. And then visit legacybox.com/recollection for an incredible 65% off. Sexism at work seemed to be much more acceptable decades ago. Male chauvinist behavior was something women dealt with pretty regularly, especially in the workplace. Now, this wasn't how everyone treated women, but inappropriate behavior was occurring, and it was often just brushed aside or laughed off.
That's crazy.
Today, the social norms are much more strict when it comes to what can be said to anyone, especially in any work environment. Lawsuits and now cancel culture are how many of these issues are dealt with today.
As they should be.
Remember when not wearing a seatbelt was an option? Today, we understand the critical role seatbelts play in saving lives during accidents. But if we think back to even the 1980s, wearing a seatbelt was not required in many places.
Did people drive as crazy as they do now? Back then? I mean, did people? Because, you know, I could go outside and I don't know. I always got to have my seatbelt on. I'm just thinking because like people be driving so crazy. It's like it's not you, it's them. It's the crazy drivers, man. People be speeding. I hate when I'm like at a light and I want to turn right and a car behind me is honking at me, but there's somebody's crossing the street. That's why I'm waiting. You know, and I'm like, dude, like, relax. I'm not a road rage person, but I don't drive slow. But I'm just saying, I don't drive fast either. You know what I mean?
A combination of passing new laws, awareness campaigns on TV and billboards, and most importantly, the help of police enforcement has made strapping on seatbelts second nature, and most of us really don't even think about it anymore.
Yep.
The airport experience used to be much different than it is today.
Let's
Saying
see.
goodbye didn't mean standing on the curb in front of the terminal, but rather walking them to the gate and waiting with them until they boarded the plane.
Really?
The same went for when you were picking someone up, and you could walk to the gate to greet them as they got off the plane. Security concerns after 9/11 have changed who can go beyond a security checkpoint, so we're left with quick goodbyes at the car and text messages letting us know when they've boarded and landed.
Yeah, I feel like that always should have been a rule.
Spanking was once a widely accepted way to discipline an unruly child. At home, it may have been a belt, and at school, you might have gotten the paddle. And those are two things that would never go over today. For some,
Man.
spanking doesn't work and is abusive, while the other side considers the lack of spanking to be what's wrong with society today.
Yes.
There is no doubt that in today's world, spanking is now taboo, and there is a much greater emphasis on positive parenting techniques that encourages communication and understanding.
You see it at Walmart all the time. Kids acting up.
Smoking was not only socially acceptable back in the day, but it was something that seemingly everyone did. Filtered and unfiltered cigarettes, pipes, or cigars, everyone had their favorite. You could smoke on airplanes, in restaurants, in your car with the windows rolled up. It really didn't matter. But as the health risks associated with smoking grew, regulations were established to limit smoking in public places. Then excessive taxes were added onto packs of cigarettes, which further limited their use. Now smoking is much less common, and it's hard to find a place where smoking is still allowed indoors.
Yeah, like I said, when we went to Italy, man, everybody had
Getting
it.
chickenpox used to be just part of growing up. Up until the mid-1990s, everyone would eventually get them, and then get over them. So to speed up the inevitable, some people held chickenpox parties as a way to expose their children to the virus and just get it over with. Nowadays, vaccines prevent kids from catching chickenpox altogether, and you certainly wouldn't see someone posting on Facebook about an upcoming chickenpox party. Sunscreen is now something that everyone considers when they plan on spending an extended time in the sun. But there was a time when people would bask in the hot sun without any UV protection.
Oh, wow.
Getting a sunburn and then having your skin peel was something we all experienced. They even had suntan oils that would help you get a darker tan. So there was basically no fear of too much sun exposure.
Jeez.
Today, sunscreen is a big business, and the stuff has gotten really expensive. This is especially true after many brands of sunscreen were pulled from store shelves because they contain the cancer-causing chemical benzene.
I remember that.
If you wanted to get from point A to point B, and you didn't have your own car, all you had to do was hold out your thumb along the side of the road.
Hell no.
Hitchhiking was a perfectly acceptable mode of transportation back in the 1960s and 1970s. But as concerns about safety rose, and new laws made it a crime, it became largely obsolete.
Right,
In today's world, hitchhiking has been replaced with paid hitchhiking in the form of Uber and Lyft. Now instead of thumbing for a ride, you just whip out your phone and then some random person pulls up and offers you a ride.
I was just thinking about all the serial killers back then.
How many of us remember going to the circus? These events used to be where you could see live animals entertaining thousands of people. There were elephants, lions, tigers, and many other exotic animals, plus death-defying acrobatics and other curious sideshows. But it was the animals that made the circus the circus. After many years of hearing about the mistreatment and the sad conditions that many of these animals lived in, public concern shifted to the animals' welfare and more ethical treatment. This meant that many circuses had to change their business model, one that didn't include animals in captivity.
I think I went to the circus one time.
Many colleges and professional sports teams from the past have had to rethink their name and mascot in order to be more culturally sensitive. For years and years, Indians and other Native American nicknames have been used by teams to represent their brand. Names like savages, chiefs, and redmen were once considered completely acceptable, but over time, the racially insensitive mascots have begun to be phased out. The Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians are probably the best examples of this, but there have been many others that have quietly changed their name to be more inclusive and less offensive. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to sign up for the
no, you
Recollection Road
didn't.
newsletter using the link in the description.
Not Taylor. Again, just looking back at all that, the one that stands out to me the most is the seatbelt and the cigarettes. The airport thing is crazy too. Because I didn't, as a person who, again, I love to travel. Remember that. I love traveling, but I hate flying. So I haven't been to a lot of places, but I have been on a plane multiple times, few times. But just thinking about someone being able to come all the way in there, again, I didn't know that was a rule that happened after 9/11. I had no clue. I thought that was always in place. But yeah, just seeing this, man, it's just pretty crazy because, like, when you look back and then you look at today, I'm just wondering more so, even 10 years from now, 5 years from now, what is everything gonna look like? Because I feel another big change coming as well. Do y'all feel it? Comment below. Shout out to Recollection Road channel. Appreciate y'all. If y'all enjoyed, like, comment, share, subscribe. Peace out.